A1. A1. Yeah. Truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer too.
Greetings on this Saturday, man. Welcome back to A1 Forever Sports, the show that's cool and fly too. Be generational because it's always time to be, and don't you settle for less because you always can have more with the vision. And with that in mind, let's talk about these Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks last night was able to get one of their licks back against the Washington Wizards in NBA Cup play. The Atlanta Hawks were able to take care of business on this night, 129 to 117. And the box score is not going to tell the whole story because this game really was over a long time ago. And I know the score was a little bit close because Washington in the fourth quarter did come back. But at the same time, I believe outside of the first quarter, dominating performance. Let's get into it. So the NBA Cup is going on. Of course, you have different groups of play. The different groups that are in different categories, from like A to E, something like that. I know we're in Group C, um, East Group C. Yeah, so there's three different groups. So it's A, B, and C. And then we're in Group C, and right now the Atlanta Hawks are leading Group C. They're 2-0 right now, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're 1-0. Everyone else has lost a game. Cleveland will be playing Boston soon, and our next NBA Cup game will be against the Chicago Bulls. But we have two games ahead of that coming up, really a back-to-back on Sunday and Monday. And then the next game after that will be the next Cup game for the Atlanta Hawks. But let's get back into like this game in particular. Again, like I said, the Hawks were able to get their lick back. One of them, just one of them, against the Washington Wizards. And man, we got to start talking about some team performances, just things that the Hawks were able to do. Now, again, I said in the first quarter, the Hawks were down 39 to 29. And they started off pretty good. You know, they were getting the Wizards in foul trouble. Wizards had that foul trouble going on. I feel like they should have kept attacking the Wizards and attacking the Wizards. And I'm not saying they didn't try. I feel like after a minute, they started abandoning it because the Wizards started scoring more points. So you had to kind of like move on and be like, all right, we got to get back into this game. You know, we got to score points. I believe, Trey Young, he came in and he was being a facilitator at first, but then it was time for him to start getting into the game a little bit more, and you start to see him knock down more threes. And that was a good sight for the Atlanta Hawks. But ultimately, team defense is something that got the Hawks back into this game. The Hawks, again, down 39 to 29 in the second quarter. They were able to score 30 points. And guess what? They held the Wizards to 11 points. That's a season low. That's the least amount of points that I've seen the Hawks give up in one quarter this season. Defense, defense right there. And then the Hawks were also able to come out in the third quarter, which is normally like a death quarter for the Atlanta Hawks. And for the Atlanta Hawks faithful, they will tell you that. But in this particular game, it was 35 points for the Atlanta Hawks compared to 25 for the Wizards. Okay. This game was well in hand by the end of the third quarter. The Hawks were up big. At one point in the time, the Hawks were up by 28 points in this game. And in the fourth quarter, they put up another 35 points. But the problem with that is the Wizards put up 42 points in the fourth quarter. And I'm going to be real with you. I feel like at least about 15 of those points should have never happened. At least about 15. It should have never happened. That's what it comes back to about finishing games. Yes, you had your opponent down, but the intensity was up, I believe, midway through the first quarter, all the way to like I'll say about the 7-minute mark, maybe into like the fourth. Then it started kind of like relaxing, and of course, that's human nature. You're up big on an opponent. You don't believe they're going to come back. So at the end of the day, you kind of like take your foot off the gas a little bit. It tends to happen. And I could be nitpicking, but it's just like being a longtime Hawks fan myself and like watching this team. You just want to see them finish the game completely. If you win by 34 points, then so be it. It just means that you just beat them into the ground. And that's what you're supposed to do. I don't really have any remorse for that. It's just if the team is bad, show them that they are bad. And because the only two wins that these guys have was against the Atlanta Hawks in the beginning of the season. Um, so again, you was able to get your lick back, and honestly, the beating could have been so bad for the Wizards that it have felt like you just got both of your licks back. But either way it goes, like regardless, team win, another team win, back to back after just taking care of the Boston Celtics in your first NBA Cup game. Let's dive into some more numbers here. The points in the paint battle, the Hawks were able to take care of business yet again in the points of the paint battle, 62-46. Fast break points, yes, fast break points. We won that as well, 25-16. Partly because of Dyson Daniels and his 6 steals. But I'll get to players in 1 second. Biggest lead for the Hawks, like I said, 28 points, and biggest lead for the Wizards was 14. So yes, we came back from a 14-point deficit to take the lead, and we never looked back. Bench points. The Atlanta Hawks bench, if I'm not mistaken, I do not have the numbers in front of me, so I apologize for that. But if I'm not mistaken, the Hawks have only lost in bench points maybe twice this season. I'm not sure about that exactly, but regardless, another game winning the bench points, 47-35 for the Atlanta Hawks. You love to see it, man. You love to see it. It's getting a little chilly out here in Atlanta, man. So gotta wear that. Got a cold mind. Gotta have that skull cap, Also, points off turnovers. Excuse me. That was the one thing that the Wizards were close in, like the closest in, but the Hawks still was able to win that 23-21. All right. So now I got to get into these players, man. I got to start talking about the players. And of course, who else are we going to start with? Dyson Daniels. What can you say about this kid, man? What else can you say about this guy? A guy who I personally said on this channel that I had faith in from the beginning. I just was seeing it, man. He's just so young, and you haven't seen much from the guy, but watching the games, you will see that he possibly has some potential. You could tell that the man need to work on shooting, need to work on confidence, but his role just was not big in New Orleans. Figures, New Orleans. But anyway, Atlanta has brought him in, given him more confidence. Despite how you feel about Quinn Snyder, he's instilled confidence into this kid and saying, hey, look, shoot the basketball, do something with the basketball, play your game. You put that with the performance that you've seen in the Olympics with Australia, and you had to the wheels had to start turning, but like, what could possibly be? Now, I was thinking maybe the guy can score maybe like 12 points. I believe he's averaging 15 points a game. If I heard my guys on the We Hawks TV, shout out to Damon and the boys over there, man. Shout out to every one of those guys. Great Hawks work, by the way. If you're not subscribed, you should be, because I am too. And I believe Dyson is scoring by about 15-5 or 15 points, something like that. Either way it goes, you take that, because that was not expected. I was thinking maybe somewhere in the 12 point range, but Holmes been going up. And he was 10 for 14 from the field. Very efficient, 71%. Got a lot of layups. Hit a couple threes. He was 2 for 5 from 3, 40%. Let's see here. We also, of course, we know he got the 6 steals. He had 3 assists. So, like a few rebounds, as 4 to be exact, if you want to know the number exactly. And he was a +1 with those 25 points only had one turnover. The most turnovers of the night came from Trey Young. I know at least three of those that I seen were like passes that he was trying to get to. I know like Capella, and also he was trying to hit a guy on the cut. I believe it might have been Ricochet and everything, but it was just he was trying to make passes, trying to get the people involved, and it ended up being turnovers and stuff. Not anything too crazy. But again, Dyson Daniels coming in, being a difference maker on both ends of the floor. His defense is leading to offense, easy offensive points for the Atlanta Hawks. This man has now had his fourth straight game with 6 or more steals. And if gets 2 more, he will tie Alvin Robinson's 1985-1986 record in steals. Now, again, this guy is coming in being a difference maker. He's playing 35. He played 35 minutes last night, but he's been playing many minutes. The Hawks have been using him, and the guy is in such great condition. Like he's in great condition just to play both sides of the floor for that many minutes and to be effective like the whole game. So you can tell conditioning is up. And honestly, if the entire Hawks staff, well, the entire Hawks team plays like that with that high energy, the Hawks are going to go somewhere. Okay, they really are. They're going to surprise a lot of people, and it's going to stop being a surprise to the people in the city of Atlanta, and the world is going to start having to watch the Atlanta Hawks and see what they're doing, um, because of guys like Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Zachary Ricochet, who's still growing and will continue to grow. You also had the return of DeAndre Hunter, but the Hawks have a nucleus going on, and they can really take this to another level. They can. I want to move on now to Mr. Jalen Johnson. Mr. 8 for 15 from the field, shooting 50%, only 1 of 5 from 3, but that's okay. That's okay. JJ was still nearly almost had another triple double, having 13 rebounds, 7 assists. The man had 4 blocks. So he didn't knock down the threes like that, but he did have some blocks. So he did make a difference in other areas that just because he was lacking in one area, he still made a difference in a different area. 4 blocks, you definitely take that. 3 turnovers, he's still working it out, and we know that as well. This is his first season being a really difference maker, like being a focal point of an offense. He was +7 for those who care about the plus minus. Let me just get the plus minus out the way. The entire Hawks team was plus. Okay. Dyson Daniels was a +1, and he was the lowest. Everybody else was 2 and up, with the highest being 12, and that was Keaton Wallace, 11, Garrison Matthews, and then 9 on Yeko Okongwu. That's your top 3. But there were no negatives at all in this game for the Atlanta Hawks. Back to JJ, 18 points, again, 13 rebounds, being a difference maker on the defensive end with 4 blocks. And this man, JJ, is slowly becoming that player that you really can depend on, even when Trey is not on the floor. I absolutely love the fact, and shout out to Glenn Willis too, because he pointed it out. But I love the fact how Quinn used JJ as the point forward when Trey was out, because we already know he showed flashes of that before this season. We was talking about this last season on how JJ could be that Scottie Pippen-ish type point forward for you. And again, him working out in the offseason and him hanging around great intellectual minds in basketball like LeBron James. It doesn't matter how you feel about him. He's still one of the best basketball minds in the game, and probably one of the best ever. So him taking in the knowledge of that, and you can kind of see some of that in his game last night too, and just really all season. But I'm gonna focus on last night. It was a drive to where he got Onyeka, I believe, got the rebound. Then next thing you know, you seen Jalen Johnson taking the ball down the court, a fast break, saying all the way, got to the rim, laid it up. He did that a couple of times last night, actually, just taking the ball straight to the rim and pretty much just using his size and his strength to get what he needed, which was the basket. He absolutely loved that. Jalen is continuing to grow, and he will continue to be a factor for the Atlanta Hawks. All I'm worried about these guys is they just got to stay healthy. That's all. Moving to Zachary Ricochet, our rookie, our number one overall pick. He had 27 minutes. He was only four for 12, 33% from the field. He made most of his free throws though, so you want to see that. As far as stats goes, two rebounds, two assists. Still had 11 points, only one turnover. And at the end of the day, those 11 points still took you somewhere. Still was a factor. Still was a difference. And Zachary, I'm not sure what the Atlanta Hawks are going to do with Zachary Ricochet because he's still growing and his mechanics and everything like that is still formulating in the NBA. I still believe that he's transitioning from Euro ball to NBA basketball, and that may be a little process. Not everybody just, you know what I'm saying, picks that up just like that. But he's doing well, especially on the defensive end, man. I'm gonna have to drop a video just, you know what I'm saying, just explaining that, man. I got some inside help, and as far as like on the editing and everything like that, I'm gonna give their credit to them as well. But he is doing well on the defensive end. You know what I'm saying? Being able to roll over the screens. He's not going under him. He's not you're not leaving him in the dust. Like even when the ball player turns the corner off of the screen, he's still there. He still has defensive presence. He moves his feet, which is very important. He uses his length, so even when the guard or whomever is driving, he still has his hands up, hands up, hands up. He can block shots. He's fearless out there. It doesn't matter if he can go get it, he will. So like his defensive prowess is there already at 19 years old, and I believe it's going to continue to grow. Like his basketball IQ, I believe is something that's underrated too, just on the defensive end as well. It's not a lot of times where you just put Zach in the blender. Honestly, it's great to see. And again, one of the things that just very key to me is he moves his feet. And I'm pretty sure like other content creators that are for the Atlanta Hawks will tell you similar things and possibly more. Just diving into it, but I like Ricochet. But wondering what they're going to do with Ricochet off of the return of this guy, DeAndre freaking Hunter. 20 minutes, 7 for 13 from the field, over 50%, 3 of 5 from 3, 60%. Also hit most of his free throws, 5 of 7. It was crazy seeing DeAndre Hunter just come out there. No, let me take that back. It wasn't crazy to see DeAndre Hunter do that. Because coming off the bench last year, we seen DeAndre Hunter put up production. We're just really worried about his health more so than anything else, okay? But DeAndre Hunter, 22 points off of the freaking bench. He had one assist, he had 3 rebounds, but 22 points in 20 minutes, 7 of 13 from the field. If DeAndre Hunter does that, it's going to be hard to beat the Hawks. I know that's just one player. Everybody else has to do their job too. But if he can do that, it's going to be hard to beat the Atlanta Hawks, man. Because I've already been saying when we got Dyson Daniels on the defensive end, for one thing, Dre ain't got to do it all by himself no more. He's always been by himself. And we tear him up. We beat him up for things he does or doesn't do, things he say or the things he's not supposed to say. At the end of the day, in this game, DeAndre Hunter showed everybody what's up. DeAndre Hunter showed that he has been actually working on his game some. And he came in, gave you 22 points in 20 minutes off the bench. This team has all the attributes to be a great team. They do. They just all got to put it together. And it can be somebody different on every night. Because remember how great Larry Nance has been playing? Larry Nance didn't play so great last night. He was 0 for 2, 13 minutes. Still gave you, some pretty quality minutes. Still gave you an assist, a steal, still gave you 2 rebounds, and he didn't give you any points. But guess what? He still was a +5 on the floor because he giving you quality minutes. He's doing other things. He's playing defense. He didn't even score last night, and the Hawks still were taking care of business. He was the only he was the only Hawk outside of Keaton Wallace who didn't score. But Wallace and Nance also gave you quality minutes on both ends of the floor. It doesn't matter if they was passing, you know what I'm saying? Because Wallace, he had him a steal, he had him 2 assists, and he had him 3 rebounds, you know? And 2 of those rebounds was on the defensive end. So again, quality minutes that they were still giving you. We are still not fully healthy. Still no Bogey. Still no Buffkin. Still no Krejci. I'm telling you, the Hawks have all the attributes, all the components right here to possibly be a good team. Can they get better? Of course. Do they still need some big man help? Possibly. Possibly, yeah. But at the end of the day, effort, communication, playing as a team can really just compensate for some weaknesses like that. If everybody is playing hard, you can really just see, I'm like, all right, we have this, that, and the third. All we have to do is just add this to it and we'll be complete. Then let's see what everybody's talking about, you know? But regardless, we're going to get healthy. We're going to get healthier. Bogey will be back. Um, Veet will be back, Buffkin will be back, and then we can really see. It's going to be interesting to see what Quinn is going to do with this team once everybody is fully healthy. What's going to happen with Keaton Wallace? What's going to happen with Garrison Matthews? You know, those guys who are, I mean, even David Roddy. What's going to happen with those guys when those 3 that I just named comes back? You know, that's going to be interesting to see. But I'm not quite done. Real quick, shout out to Clint Capella, 22 minutes, efficient again. He was 4 from 8, 4 for 8 from the field, so that's 50%. 2 for 4 from free throws, 50% again. Came in, gave you 13 rebounds and 10 points. Another double-double for Clinton. Another double-double for him. You know, he didn't have any blocks, but he's even had an assist. 1 assist. You know, 6 offensive rebounds. That's getting us second chance points. That's getting us extra possessions that you need. You know, so like you take that and you love it, man. Also, next I'm going to go to Mr. Ice Trey Young. Now Trey, he was 5 for 18 from the field, 27%, 4 of 9 from 3. That's where he really did most of his damage at, from the 3-point line. Of course, perfect from the foul line. That's not anything new. 9 assists got you, 9 assists, got you 2 rebounds, 18 points, still was a +2. And that was even with the 6 turnovers. But something that I'm noticing about Mr. Trey Young is, I believe, the last 2 games that I've seen Trey play in, I believe he's starting to really trust. I believe he's starting to really try to get other teammates involved. And maybe the thoughts are coming over him that, like, okay, people tell me I don't have to do it all myself, but is it really true? I think he's starting to realize I do have a team. I do have a group of guys who can play basketball, and we can do this. I honestly feel like Trey a little bit last night was being a little bit too passive at times, just of what I've seen him do and his body of work and everything, and the tendencies. I feel like that sometimes he was just being a little bit too passive. But then I had to step outside of that and just be like, no, he's not. He is learning how to play with his team. He's learning how that he can be he's realizing he can be a team player. He's realizing that he has guys around him that can play, that can score the basketball, that he can play with. and it's not falling all on him anymore. We're gonna have guys that when they try to lock in on Trey, that other guys can take over, or not necessarily take over, but they can also be a factor on the floor to where the defense has to be honest when it comes to Trey, regardless. And that's what you want. That's the thing that we've been talking about getting stars around him and talking about just getting him production that's going to be around him to make him even more effective. It's a possibility the Hawks, when they made that trade for Dyson Daniels, as some of us already know, that they were building a foundation. They were starting anew. And yeah, we upset about the draft picks, but guess what? It won't even matter if the Hawks are consistently playing together and mess around and end up being a top 5 team. Because that draft pick gonna be way down there somewhere for San Antonio, and they got other help in other aspects from teams, from trades, and everything like that too. It don't matter as long as the Atlanta Hawks trade is way down the line for them. That is great. That is great. Then you will have like overtaken the pitfalls of the past. You know, uh, I believe Trey Young again is being more of a team player, and hopefully that just continues. Hopefully it just continues that we're just gelling together, and we will continue to be the best that we can be. Guys, the Hawks had 8 guys in double figures last night. 8 guys in double figures. Are you serious right now? From the Atlanta Hawks now. That's what I'm talking about. This team, all the attributes, just got to put it together. Keep on gelling, keep on playing as a team, communicating, switching, rolling, and helping each other out. One band, one sound. Go out there, take care of business, beat the teams that you're supposed to beat into the ground, and play the teams that are supposedly better than you or as good as you, whatever. Make it tough for them every night. I don't believe that guys can score 120 plus points every night off of tough shots unless they're just on, and that's just not going to happen often in an 82 game season. You play every game like that, guys are not going to do it. You may have a game or two, but it's not going to be a consistent thing if you're making it tough for every team to score. And then you're going out there and you're scoring on your end. You just got to do your job if you're the Atlanta Hawks. And I think I have gone through I went through all my guys that I was going to go through. One thing I will say that I did like was the fact that the Hawks didn't let Gawuba Wale, the guy that was shooting all the threes last time, and also they didn't let him go off like that. He only had 9 points. I mean, Kuzma, he's going to shoot. Sar, he had a better game from the past couple of games. Jordan Poole, he's going to shoot. Like I said, a lot of these stats that they have are kind of inflated because of the fourth quarter. At least 15 of those points shouldn't have happened. Just like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to stand on that just because they did take their foot off the gas. The Hawks did. They took their foot off the gas. They could have beat this team by more points than what they did. It is what it is, though. Lastly, before I get ready to get up out of here, the Atlanta Hawks, they did take care of business in the points in the paint. Like I said, second chance points, it was even actually at 17 up. And then the fast break points, the Hawks was able to take care of business. 26. Excuse me. Yeah, hold on. Am I tripping? Yeah, 26-16. Sorry about that. 32% from the field, from the 3-point line, 46% from the field from the Atlanta Hawks. Free throw percentage, you won that as well. Turnover battle, you did lose by 1. And the blocks, we had 10 to their 5. Steals, they had 11 to our 10. Assists was pretty much a gridlock. Rebounds, 55-52. And again, like I said, at the end of the game, some of this stuff kind of got inflated a little bit for the Wizard side of things because they started making a run. Hawks finished the job, since stuff like that doesn't happen. But again, Great win for the Atlanta Hawks, man. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Please help me get out there in the YouTube universe, the algorithm, and hopefully find other Hawks fans just like me who love this team and loving what they're doing and have optimism moving forward with the Atlanta Hawks. Until next time, guys, please find your peace today. Positive energy always creates elevation, and you can find your peace today. Also, I said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe again to help me get out there in the YouTube universe. Be generational because it's always time to be. And until next time, y'all, I will holler.
A1. Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer too.